we are moving the conversation now to the national population census that was earmarked for 3rd of May, and I know a lot of people had asked that it be postponed because of the general elections and all that, the electioneering process that was going on. However, what is the implication? As we also, I don't know if you at home must have seen the news that over 200 billion had already been gobbed in spite of that postponement. To discuss all of this, we have in the studio Dr. Inua Bakare Jalingo. He's the Census Manager, National Population Commission. Thank you so much for being part of the program.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Good morning, Dr. Jalingo.
Good morning.
Great.
Yeah.
So she's given a beautiful and a worrisome introduction. I mean, over 200 billion, and eventually it was cancelled. So let's ask, what happened? Why didn't we have the census again? I think that would be a good foundation to have a light education about what happened before we now come and talk about this huge money that was expended and was never implemented for its purpose.
Anyway, first and foremost, let me correct the insinuation.
Okay.
It was not cancelled.
Postponed indefinitely.
And we call it rescheduled. Not postponed indefinitely again.
It was just rescheduled.
The President and Commander-in-Chief, Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, in his own wisdom, and decided that the census should be done after the new government has come in.
Okay.
One, to get in their buy-in, and also so that they can also see the process and buy in, and also ensure that the process is being implemented within their guidance.
Okay.
The reasons are not far-fetched. You know, we just held a national election. While putting that date for that census, we didn't know that the date for one of the election is going to be shifted. And in the life of a census, every day counts, every hour counts, every minute counts. So mindful of all this, mindful of the fact that, okay, everybody expected that the settlement after the election will just be healing and all this and will be so soon. But you know, that has not happened because of certain agitations and all these things. So if you look at everything and with the information available to Mr. President and the council, it was decided that, okay, you have done a very good job. Would love to have seen to the conclusion of this job, but it was not possible. It's not rather going to be possible. We could have only been able to do trainings and probably collect the data, but we cannot present the results.
Right. Okay.
So, and having put in that all this into consideration, and the president being a system man and being somebody that has always believed in continuity and of government, said, okay, there is no need to rush the process. Let us wait, let the incoming government come, let them have a buy-in, and let them conclude the process. We have done so much in terms of the implementation of this census. And one thing I want to use this opportunity to tell Nigerians, even as of now, the resources that we have for the census is, if you want to put it out there in the market, is worth trillions. You understand?
Okay.
We have mapped this country almost 100%. And when I mean mapping is, I mean we can touch every building. We know where every building, where every road, where everything that is river, where everything is located. And we have gotten coordinates of that. We have a very big geospatial data. And that geospatial data has won us an international award in San Diego, USA.
Okay.
As one of the biggest geospatial data in Africa.
What's the geospatial data?
Data, that means the data of all your buildings and all these things that are geo-coded. Okay. So it's a real-time data. It's a data that, okay, if I said ASO radio is in this point, it is actually in this point.
Okay.
We have taken the coordinates of where that is located in the position of the earth. So it's a huge resources that the Commission has been able to generate, even with the enumeration area demarcation. NIPOS is leveraging on that to develop postal codes for the whole country.
That's interesting.
Yeah, for the first time in Nigeria, we know all the localities that we have in Nigeria. Not only localities, but we know where the localities are. Okay. So you cannot tell us that a locality exists where it does not exist. And again, we have the ward boundaries. Mapped ward boundaries. And this also was based on the collaboration with INEC, which we never had before. And it is being used by INEC. We have all the polling unit points in Nigeria. So you can keep on mentioning and mentioning and mentioning, you know, because sometimes we don't understand data and we don't understand the resources that is there. But we know that a lot of people want to have this data, which I think some government agencies have started using, I have mentioned. So, and I think even as far as I'm concerned, this census has achieved a lot of milestones even before it is completely concluded.
The way you've explained it are just indeed giving us a milestone, you know, because there were quite a number of Nigerians that were clamoring that, you know, the census should be postponed, and everything you said makes logical sense. We just finished the elections and everything. So yes, now it's actually clearer. But there's also the question about the money that has already been, you know, embossed or distributed or given to your agency for the census. What does that translate to mean?
For the enumeration area demarcation,
Okay.
if we have visited all the 773 local government areas except one,
Okay.
nationwide, we have visited all these local government areas. This mapping that I'm telling you is Nigerians that have been recruited to do the mapping.
Okay.
We have to pay them their remunerations.
Remunerations, absolutely.
We have to buy the equipment we are using tablets both for mapping exercise and for the census. And we have about 800,000 enumeration areas, field personnel that are going to use these tablets for the census. All of them have to be kitted with a tablet, with a power bank, with back pouch and other accessories. We have logistics to do for the census. We have infrastructure. Conservatively, each person that have worked with us, we are paying a minimum of 10,000. Where the higher grades, we pay them more than that. Presently, we have done about 4 levels of training up to the state level. We have trained about 62,000 facilitators.
Okay.
And these facilitators are going to train the about 800 and something thousand enumerators in about 20,000 classrooms spread across the country. So all these are resource driven. And this is the first time Nigeria is implementing a digital census. For you to implement a digital census, you have to set up the systems that requires you to implement a digital system. You have to have a very robust internet connectivity, which we have procured. We have leveraged on NCC and all the network providers. We have superimposed their coverage areas against our enumeration areas, and for each enumeration area to ensure that there is seamless internet connection during the exercise, we have bought two source of data network. Is that clear? So we take a strong one and the next strong one.
Okay.
So covering
So you have
all
a
these
backup.
things.
Right.
And also we have to have a data for all the enumerators to stream their data almost real time to our servers for the population. We have set up the call center, an integrated call center with about 30 call agents in a situation room. We have also press gallery in our situation room so that you people
media.
and media can come and see what we are doing real time. We have also developed a robust e-recruitment portal. We have also developed a very robust logistic portal where we know that where all our materials are either on transit or in situ are located. In addition to that, we have also developed an enumeration dashboard. It's a system whereby, unlike before, we don't know whether they have covered, but sitting in our office in Abuja, we'll be able to determine whether our enumerators, what is the rate of completion.
Okay.
Have they covered all the areas that we have assigned them to? Do they have what percentage on day one will be able to assess coverage, on day two will be able to assess coverage, and we'll be able to know whether they are going to complete. And we'll also look at data quality. We have about 934 data quality areas spread across the country, which are going to be manned with generators, with screen dashboard, with computers, so that our team will be monitoring the enumeration as it is going on real time and be looking at data quality issues. So we have done a lot, and like I have said, we have not done that. This is the expectation of a digital census. So we have set up all the systems. We have procured virtually all the materials that are required for the census. And apart from the tablets which are in the central bank in the States, the manuals and other materials that are required by the enumerators, raincoats, and all the jackets, all of them are located in the local government areas where we expect to do this job. So a lot, census is no way cheap anywhere.
Right.
And if you look at it, for this census, we have tried as much as possible to reduce the cost. In the past, we used 2 enumerators per an EA. And this time around, we looked at, okay, they are going to use tablets. So only one person is handling tablets. And
Technology
also to
has made it
reduce the
easier.
cost of the census itself,
Yes.
we decided to go with 1 enumerator per enumeration area.
Okay.
And if you look at it, minimum of what we pay our enumerators per day is 10,000 naira. That is the minimum we pay. So and for an operation end to end, it takes about 22 days. So by the time you calculate, is that clear? Conservatively, you are paying each person about 220,000.
Yeah.
Leave logistics out of it. It's not part of it. You have to provide generator. So by the time you calculate, conservative calculation on any day of census implementation, you are spending 11 billion just to pay field functionaries.
Wow.
That's a
See
lot
how-
of
Just
money.
to pay
See how we
field,
said
just,
wow,
just to
yeah.
pay field functionaries. But the beauty of it all, this money is going to Nigerians' pocket.
How?
It has.
The
By the time you
enumerators.
pay, you have improved their economic power, and it will enable them to go into other devices. So it's like returning money back into the economy. So Nigerians have to see the census in that perspective. It's a national project, and it is a project that involves virtually everybody. So even if there is benefit, it's going to come to Nigerians. And we have about 1.3 million, 1.5 million people that applied in our recruitment portal. And we have recruited about 900,000 of them
Wow.
for the census. So by no means is not a small exercise. You need to kit them, you need to feed them, you need to provide logistics for them for the operations of the census. And if you look at logistics, when you go to Bayelsa, the requirement for logistics is different. When you go to the Adamawa state, the requirement for logistics is different. I'm from Taraba state. I know from Mambila Plateau, there are places that you can use 12 hours to get to from the local government headquarters to the state, from the local government headquarters to the locality.
Yes.
So Nigeria is diverse, and for census, you need to visit everybody in his house, everybody in his building. We don't go to polling areas or census areas to say, okay, come and let us count you. Our enumerators have to visit all the houses. They have to count people in where they stay, irrespective of where they stay in Nigeria.
Okay.
And even all of us, like I have told you, while we are having a pre-distant discussion, there are some places, like I can remember when I went to Nansa in Imo State. In those days, when you get to Nansa, if it rains, you cannot get out until after 2 to 3 days.
Because it's
So Nigeria is a very
has
diverse
its own
something. So
peculiarity.
we need to look at it beyond our immediate environment or beyond our local environment. For census, it is a collective process. You have to visit everywhere, and you have to go there physically. So, and it involves a lot of resources and that. And even if you look at it, it's next to war.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doctor, you know, before when we were building up to the census, when we thought it was going to hold, we had this conversation too. And the concerns Nigerians had at the time was that, do I need to travel? Do I need to go to my state so that I'll be counted there, so that whatever development will be done would be after whatever data, they will count me in that. But let's get down to people who might be in their business places and homes, and not homes per se. If you come to my home and you count the people in my home at the time, and maybe I am in my business place, I'm a journalist, for instance, sometimes I work late hours, and I might not have been caught in the home, I'm counted in my office place. Would it be harmonized as me being from that place where I reside? Would there be an option that, you know, takes me back or to my locality? I don't know if I have made my point.
You have made a perfect sense. I understand what you are saying. In the first place, we want to discourage census migration.
Right.
Okay.
You understand? Why we want to discourage it is like the mega cities suffer. Because like now, if you go to Lagos, on a normal day work time in Lagos, you can see the people that are in Lagos, that are enjoying the facilities of Lagos. Is that clear? So assuming you have a census and all these people decide to leave Lagos and go to their localities, and after the census they come back, and they are also looking for water supply in Lagos, they are looking for education of their children, they are looking to use the roads, they are looking for every amenities and facilities that is meant for there. But they were not there for the government to have their information and plan.
Yeah.
So this we discourage.
Okay.
But coming to the second level of your, look at even Nasarawa here. You can see how many people come to Abuja every day to work.
Yes.
And they live in Karu, they live in Mararaba, they live in all these areas. Is that clear? Even on this side of the fringes, some people live as far as Suleja, some people even live beyond Suleja to come to Abuja to work. So you find out that those areas where people live, majority of them, you find out that they are not here because they are natural indigenous, they are here because of the federal capital territory. And so if by the census time they leave those areas and go to their localities and come back, you find out that the government of Nasarawa or the government of Niger will be planning or will be having planning for a fewer people while it has a lot of people that have left. So we discourage that. But that is not to say that our questionnaire has taken care of all these issues. So irrespective of where you are, if you are from Taraba, or let me say if you are from Imo, as my sister have said earlier, we are going to ask you, where are you from? Which local government area are you from?
Right.
And we have a set of migration questions, even to ask you, how long have you stayed here? Did you stay elsewhere before here? So all these will be able to place people by their state, by their local government area, because the data will be so robust that we can do all these analysis and triangulate and say, okay, these are the total number of people in Anambra, in what is the
Imo State.
Want to Nsukka local government area.
Okay.
So you find out that it is sorry, Nsukka is in Enugu. So you find out that it is easy for us to do those analysis. So Nigerians do not need to move away from where is their normal, usual residence. They should always stay everywhere, and this is a lot of points that we need to educate. The questionnaire is so robust to be able to address these issues. And even the issues, some people are saying IDPs. You understand? One needs to understand how dynamic demography is. Is that clear? You can never put people in a place and they don't move. They move for a lot of reasons.
Exactly.
So today people are in IDP. Did we expect people to come from Sudan just 1 month ago or about 3 or 4 weeks ago? We did not. But
that's a good point.
Issues emanate and people are moving. So you cannot stop a census because people are in IDP. The census are taking care of the people that are in IDP. We are going to enumerate them. We consider them as a special population and we give them special attention. And one thing we did with this census is that all these areas with special population are digitally mapped. We can tell you where all the IDPs are. Their absolute location, because we have gone there to map it. We have not done it before. Before we assume that these places are there, we collect the information. But in our enumeration areas, we know where the IDPs are. We know where people that sleep under the bridge. We know where the homeless are. We know where the fish camps are. So all these have been taken care of. You know, census is a methodological process. Yeah. And so it tries to take everything that we need to do to ensure that every Nigerian is counted once and in the right place. We have to put it in place to ensure that happens.
Okay, let's talk about advocacy about the census, because that's there are quite a number of Nigerians that don't truly understand what the census is all for. You've explained it elaborately and it's very intellectual, where, you know, it's necessary for development, especially in mega cities, in terms of people working and living there. There are people that are skeptical. They have the opinion, they want to know how many religion, which religion is more, how many which tribe is more. Some Nigerians still have that sentiment over the population and housing census, and they say, no, we have to go back because we want to do this. We have to go back. They don't count us in our place. If not, how are we taking this advocacy to people to understand the necessity of remaining where you are? In addition to that, why I'm asking is because while we were talking, you said real-time transmission. So wherever your enumerators are, they could transmit, you know, whatever data they have collated of people living in a particular area and transmit live. The first time we stayed here in real live transmission in Nigeria of recent was during the elections in February, which was with INEC. We saw that there was a lot of glitches and hitches and it didn't work. It wasn't successful. So how do we reassure people that this is the purpose for the census and we're counting you and we're transmitting this information through data real time?
Thank you very much for this question, and I want to sincerely thank you and also tell Nigerians, we that are saddled by the grace of God, starting from our chairman Nasiru Isakwara and the 37 commissioners, one from each state of the federation, yes, and the federal capital territory, our director general, who was a staff of the commission and went to the UN, came back as Director General, and we, other directors and other technocrats, we are system people. The first thing Nigerians should understand is that if the census fails, the chairman and the 37 commissioners remain sacked. And I can tell you that we are mindful of all this, okay, and we also have our integrity. Okay. I've conducted 2 censuses. This is my 3rd one, by the grace of God, and also I have done a lot of international jobs, similarly to other of my colleagues in the office. So we have integrity, we have conscience, and we just believe within us that if we don't give Nigeria a very good and acceptable census, then we have failed. So we are doing everything possible, from the chairman down to the last man in the National Population Commission. I can tell you I've worked in that organization for about 32 years, and I know we're a system organization. When I mean it, I say we're a system organization, we're a disciplined organization, we're a professional organization. We don't collect information that is not so, okay, at any cost, at whatever it is. And having taken part in the previous censuses, we know where the problems are. Okay. And since by the grace of God we are given these duties and responsibilities, our first schedule is to ensure that how are we going to improve on the past. So we have done so much. We have developed what we call a 5 data quality strategy. First and foremost.
What's that?
It's a strategy to ensure that the data we get is clean, is okay, accurate, is reliable, and is verifiable.
Right.
So now, apart from the fact that I told you we have all the building stocks in Nigeria, mm-hmm, we also have an idea of the households in Nigeria. So we have set up data quality assurance areas who are going to be looking at this data real time. Okay. So if you tell me that there's a new building in a location, we have to look at it. Is okay, that building there? Satellite imageries provide you opportunity.
Absolutely.
To see.
Yes.
On the dashboard we are seeing here, in Abuja, in our dashboard we are seeing here, the DQM will be seeing those things in it. So if there are any improvement in an area, we'll see it. It's not something that is hidden. So technology have also provided an opportunity for us to do a census that is verifiable. Right. So, and we are leveraging on all this. Before you can send people and they will not get there and they will tell you that they have gone to do the work.
Yes.
The tablet that you are carrying will not work except if you get to the area that you are going to work.
Wow. So each tablet is mapped to its location.
Area.
Okay.
And that tablet can take you to where you are going to work, wherever it is in Nigeria. You don't have to ask anybody any question. So, and if you are getting out of where you are going to work, that tablet will not work as soon as you get out of that place.
Wow.
You understand? And so we know Nigerians, technology, yes, it has its own challenges. But one thing is that you run a lot of tests. When INEC was working, I can tell you, from the chairman to the commissioners, we started having conference calls and meetings. Okay, you learn lessons from somebody's experience.
Exactly.
Initially, we procured this tablet. We know that the failure rate for tablet from experiences is very minimal. But when this thing happened, our chairman said, look, go to Lagos, test all the tablets. Test them, put them on and test them. And we have done that until we did about 170,000 tablets testing.
In Lagos?
In Lagos. And we realized that only 6 has problem. And there is no need to continue the process. You understand? So we have done everything humanly possible that we need to do to ensure that we have a very effective system that works for the census. You don't take chances. Like I said in my introduction, every minute in a census life matters.
Exactly.
Every minute matters. If you hear that there's a problem here, you have to get to that problem and resolve it. Is that clear? Yes. For the first time, we decided to use what we call specialized workforce. This specialized workforce, there are about 22,000 of them. For the first time, we are putting 3 trainers in a class, in a census, 3 persons to train in a class. One of them is specialized workforce. This specialized workforce, we gathered them from government agencies and parastatals, and also from outside. Some of them are young people that are IC savvy, and they can do many wonderful things with these tablets and all these things. These people will teach in the class very well to ensure that everybody is on top of this. And during the field work, we intend to put these 22,000 into areas so that if there is any technical something, they will give a quick support.
Okay.
Apart from that, we have run first pre-test, second pre-test, a trial census, and we have been conducting end-to-end tests of our systems in the office. We have done a third test, and we'll continue on this testing, you know, to ensure that at the end of the day, we have a perfect system that is good to go. You know, so we are not saying, look, in technology, yes, you can expect surprise. But if you are level of preparedness, aircraft is a technology. Yeah. And aircraft in 99% or 99.9%, they take off and land after 12 hours, 16 hours of travel.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that they don't crash. Is that clear? But it meant that it will carry about 400 people. It's not a small risk. So you find out that the technology has been proven that, yes, if an aircraft takes off, it's definitely going to land.
Yes.
So that is the acceptable level. And I think we have achieved up to the acceptable level in science that our systems, our tools, and everything that we have put in place, by the grace of God, will help Nigeria deliver on a census that is accurate, reliable, and verifiable.
I love the word verifiable. How do we verify?
That is what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
That is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Because we have known your building, we know the household you are staying in your building.
For who? For you or for
anybody that wants to be sure. Like now, if you come to us and say that, look, in your village, I don't want to say your house in Abuja. In your house in the village, if you want to say that it is not mapped, I can go to, I can tell you, okay, go to the computer. We'll show you up to your room that you are staying in your village. That is the opportunity of technology.
The
we'll
beauty
show you,
of technology.
and we'll also believe that, yes, this is my household. I can see the buildings that are in my house. So it's not something, what technology, that is what I'm always saying, that is that technology is the limit of your knowledge. Technology has gone beyond our immediate knowledge.
Yes.
Is that clear?
Yes.
Exactly.
In the past, can you carry a tablet and come to the studio?
Of course not. There wasn't any
You
tablet.
carry your paper, your biro.
So that is it. So if you have a program, you have to start thinking. But now you can research. Google anything you get, and you get information wherever it's in the world.
Absolutely.
So people should believe in technology.
Exactly.
People should believe in systems. Is that clear? If you have glitches, you cannot say, okay, I'm not going to, because an aircraft crashed. I'm not going to fly on an aircraft today, tomorrow. So that is it. So and we that are saddled with this responsibility, we are very mindful from our chairman down to the last person. And we are working day in, day out. And if you come to our office prior to our planned 3rd May date, we are working virtually 18 hours every day. 18 hours.
Wow.
Just to ensure that we deliver on a good census.
Okay.
And the tempo has not reduced.
Dr. Jalingo,
yeah.
you have really lifted our spirits this morning with
has.
all you have planned for the census. However, the last census Nigeria had was 17 years ago. Do you, in this roadmap, now that you're introducing technology is it going to follow the United Nations recommendation of a 10-year, are we going to follow that recommendation of
First
a
and
10-year?
foremost, I hope I have lifted the spirit of all Nigerians. I would
Well,
be happy if I have listened to the spirit of Nigerians that are listening to us.
You are very intelligent.
Then I'll be very happy
yes,
that I have done my work today.
Yes.
One, you know, census is so important, and that is one thing Nigerians need to know. And yesterday, I will not mention name, we are interacting, my chairman and we, with one of the ministers. And he said, if you are preparing a party in your house and you don't know the number of guests, how will that your party be?
Nobody ever does that.
Is that clear?
It's even better you project or overestimate the number of people that would come.
And this is the level, you know, our government officials are very much informed. This is the level, and you expect a president to plan for a country without knowing the people that he's planning for. While you are doing a party of 50 or 100 people in your house,
and you
want to know, you have to have a guest list,
Mm-hmm.
you have to make your budget, you have to do all these things. But you want the president or the governor or the local government chairman to sit down and plan without data and expect him to deliver on dividend of democracy. So it's not possible. So we are hoping and believing that Nigeria will have minimum of a decennial census every 10 years. You see, some Nigerians will say, why do you need census? America, as sophisticated, as developed, they are, as with so many databases, they have never stopped doing census for hundreds of years. India has been consistently doing a census since 1874. The only time they shifted since that time is because of COVID, and they're in the verge of doing another one.
Right.
Or they have just finished another one. South Africa are doing a census every 5 years. Ghana, even with COVID, they did their census. They did a census in COVID because they couldn't wait for COVID to finish. But they went ahead to do their census because they see how important a census is. And I was privileged to be at one of the dissemination of the Ghana census. The ministers, they release the data. If they are going to do housing, if they are going to do communication, they'll sit the Minister of Housing. If it is water resource, water and sanitation, they'll sit the Minister of Water Resources. They'll read the data, they'll present it, and people will be asking the ministers where they have performed well. They'll ask them, what did you do to improve the water or sanitation or road infrastructure in those areas? I'm telling you that the ministers were there answering questions on their activities based on the census data.
Right.
So that is where we want Nigerian to be. And you cannot do that until you have a history of doing a census every 10 years or 5 years as set up. Our own is even 10 years we are advocating.
But why did we have to wait this long if it's that important?
You know, there are a lot of issues into it. Assuming that it's a constitutional matter, just like the election, you know, definitely we will have census. So what the National Population Commission is doing now is trying to go to the National Assembly
and get a bill for
it so that we can have a census every 10 years. Okay. So that our governors can plan, our local government chairmen can plan, our private sector can plan. Everybody can plan. Is that clear? And then we'll be able to monitor our development. We'll be able to monitor progress. We'll be able to monitor how we are doing things in the right direction as Committee of Nations. Apart from that, Nigeria is a member of the international community. We are a signatory to the 17 SDG Sustainable Development Goals, which we intend to achieve. Nigeria is also a member of the African Union.
Right.
And we have the Africa 2063 agenda, which the president even mentioned. And all these are set of international goals and targets and expectations of human development. Is that clear? And even locally here, we just finished Economic Recovery Growth Plan.
Exactly.
And we are also in our development plan of 2021-2025 development plan. All these, how do you make sure that you have achieved the milestone that you are expected to achieve without a census data? You cannot.
Can't.
So we cannot go to United Nations and say, where is the progress on Nigeria on gender equality? You don't have data to back it up. All these are things that we need to do. So sometimes when you sit in international meetings, you are ashamed because you find out that most of the information that is required for Nigeria is estimated, not actual. Nigeria is a very
But we
Big
have so
contribution.
much information of data collection around. When you talk of BVNs, you talk of INEC that you're collaborating with.
It has a
You
voter
know, we have
identification
the voter
number,
identification number, we have the bank VVNs, we have the NIN, National Identity
identity.
Number. So we have so many numbers in Nigeria. Why haven't we been able to
Thank God,
collate?
thank God I sit on the board of NIMSI. And
Okay, good.
I also sit.
So why are we not collating all this data
Harmonizing
or
it.
harmonizing it to get the
when
actual...
when the government of President Muhammadu Buhari came into power, I think the first thing they said is that harmonize all
Exactly,
biometrics data source.
exactly.
And today, are we not better? In terms of those database, before I can have 3 or 4 names, I can go to immigration, I have another name for my passport, I can go to license, I have an... But all these databases, as you can see, have been harmonized with the BVN. You find out that people are going to ensure that they have one record.
Yes.
Because you cannot open a bank account in
Without
Access
your
Bank with
name.
another name and this.
Yes.
Even our recruitment for the census, we use the NIN. If you don't have a NIN, you cannot enter our portal. So these are the harmonizations. But all these data sets, the BVN data, will not give you the socio-demographic data
What about
that
the
the census
NIN?
require. The NIN data will not give you the socio-demographic characteristics that the census data provides. And I told you, even America have not stopped doing census. They have better
They have
data
got their social
sources.
security numbers.
So all these
yes.
things. So census is a different process. And it doesn't only involve Nigerians. Everybody that lives within this landmass called Nigeria, at a particular time a census is conducted, is being canvassed for. There are a lot of information that the census, it looks at your level of education, it looks at your employment status, it looks at your housing characteristics, it looks at the mortality and fertility in the household. So there are a lot of information that is out there, and all to be able to answer to the SDGs, to the African 2063 agenda, to our local development plans and goals and aspirations as a country. So census is a collective process, and it also gives you the lowest level indicator. At the locality level, at the ward level, the census should be able to provide the information of every person that lives in those areas.
Right.
And all these, none of these data sources can give you. You can only need an international passport if you have the privilege of traveling.
traveling,
How many
exactly.
Nigerians are traveling? How many Nigerians go for driving license? Is that clear? And even the NIN registration, which I think this government has done extremely well, because I know where they are and where we are now, about 100 million Nigerians being registered on that system. But the information that is being collected is just very few questions. So the census is a unique data source that can give you data at the lowest level for planning and
Dr.
development.
Jalingo, before we let you go, when should we expect the census to take place?
When
Yes.
the president-elect
He's coming in on Monday.
coming in on Monday.
I cannot
And,
say that. He's coming in on Monday. Yeah, just round the corner.
And everybody knows that the president-elect is a system person. We have his antecedents of what he has done in Lagos. So we are hoping and looking up to the fact that he's not somebody that can delay the census. He knows the importance of the census. So as soon as he settles down, the commission, in its own wisdom, will engage the government and get a new date for the census.
Okay,
So I think-
finally, before you leave, just assure Nigerians, our borders are quite porous. So for visitors who come all the way, would you be able to see who is a Nigerian and who is not with the census and the data you collect?
One thing is that the census has a question on nationality, so we ask you where you are. But as long as you are in the land space called Nigeria, we will enumerate you for the census. Just as we have our brothers and sisters that are out there, and in a census they are always enumerated. So we'll also, that is the statistical requirement for a census.
Okay.
Anybody living in the geographical...
So one thing we'll assure Nigerians is that, and every other person that is living in Nigeria, that by the grace of God, when the new date for the census comes, we'll enumerate every person once and in the right place.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you
was
so
really,
much.
It was worth saying thank you so much, really. It was interesting talking to you. We've been talking with Dr. Inua Bakari Jalingo. He's the Census Manager, National Population Council. Thank you so much for being on Asomo.
Commission.
Thank you very much.
Commission. I forgot the commission.
National Population Commission.
It's a pleasure. I was
Thank
thinking
you.
I have 2 women against me alone, but thank God.
You were able
you're
to
a strong
manage
man.
us. You're a strong man.
Thank you for being part of the
Thank you
program.
very much. It's a
Studio.
Yeah.